Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to Bet on Us. I'm BK. He's Sab. Can't believe, Sab, we're recapping, I believe it's week 9 in the NFL season.
Yeah.
So we are officially past the halfway point.
Unbelievable, man. Week 9, what happened? I remember, I feel like it was yesterday we were watching the Chiefs and Ravens on that opening Thursday night and wondering how the season was going to go. And here we are, more than halfway through. The NFL season is always a blur, but every year we talk about it, but it just keeps getting quicker and quicker. It needs to slow down just a little bit,
Yep. Yeah, it's a microcosm of life.
Yeah.
But it's wild, man. I remember week 1, Cowboys slaughtered the Browns. We're talking, hey, our Super Bowl aspirations in the works
Exactly.
here. Man, I'll tell you, as a lifelong Cowboys fan, I have never, ever been more discouraged and just done with Jerry Jones, the team. And it's like it's like they have some sort of denial. I mean, I think even Mike McCarthy is like, what the heck did I do here? But Jerry Jones is like, we still got a chance. He was talking just this week about the playoffs. I'm like, dude, you are right now. The Cowboys are near the bottom of the league. And Dak is out. Not that he's been any shining star. And then just, any NFL, free agent, agent just has a field day with Jerry Jones bankroll. And you just saw the guy from the Panthers go there, the receiver. Yeah. I have no idea what they're trying to do. And I think he can't accept defeat. And where I'd rather see them just hit the reset button, it's like, no, we're going to go down swinging, and hopefully we can get 4 or maybe 5 wins this year and hang our hat on that. It's just a mess, dude.
Yeah. I mean, to touch on that, here's the problem with pressing the reset button. It's hard to press reset when you're giving top money to your quarterback and top money to a receiver, and you have a lot of money that has to be played on the defensive side. So it's like you're caught in the middle. If you go and do the reset button and not pay those defensive guys, still got the big contracts on the offensive side with Dak and CD, which, you want to keep those guys, obviously. You want them to stay together, for the most part. But if this gets super out of hand, okay, where you're looking at like a 5-12 season for the Dallas Cowboys, where you're going to be the headlines everywhere, every day, like you already are, then you might think, okay, wait a minute, like, do we need, like, I know it sounds crazy, but CeeDee Lamb being in trade talks. I mean, it's one of those things, like, okay, we messed up, we got to reset, but that's not going to happen until Jerry Jones relinquishes some power, and we know he's never going to do that.
Never.
So he's literally going to go down with the ship, almost literally. The guy's getting up in age. Obviously, don't wish that about anybody, but I mean, it's his fault. Period. End of story. You've had the coaches, you've had the quarterbacks, you've had this, you've had that. Dan Quinn looks like he's thriving pretty well in Washington right now. Now that he's got,
talk about pouring salt on the wound. He jumped ship, goes to the Commanders, has the best start, in their history, arguably. And and then they just go pick up Lattimore this week just to show him how it's done.
Yeah, they're going for it. Yep.
Holy smokes, man! I saw a stat a couple weeks ago on Dak versus Brock Purdy that Dak right now makes more per quarter of football than Brock Purdy will in the entire season. And Dak has never beat Brock Purdy.
Yeah, and that's Brock Purdy. Yeah, and Brock's gonna get that money eventually, but he the Dak contract right now looks awful, obviously. I know it's early. He's only played 8 games, but I mean, now he's hurt. I mean, he's literally on the sidelines saying we effing suck. He literally was proven. It was that. I mean, you saw his mouth moving and everything. It's like, man, you can't. They are, like you said, like, they're a bigger mess than they've probably ever been right now, and it's
100%. There's no shining spot, and that's what I'm saying is, like, this is the first time in my life I don't even want to tune in because there's nothing. Dak nobody's ever been a huge fan of Dak. Like, this is the answer. You don't even hear that from Cowboys fans.
No, I know.
The guy is the highest paid quarterback in the league. You got Zeke back there, who it's like, and now you're suspending the guy and not letting him play because he doesn't even show up to meetings or practices, they said. It's a mess. The offensive line is average at best. Defense is falling apart and injured. CD is completely frustrated, and you could see that could you don't want that TO type of cancer coming back, but he's not happy. I mean, it is total, complete disarray.
Yep.
And then you got Jerry Jones up there saying, yeah, we will not fire Mike McCarthy. He's accepting defeat. It's like he's blind.
Well, I was going to say, too, like, he may be saying that now, but he went through this with Jason Garrett, holding on to Jason Garrett for maybe, what, 4 years too long? Like, 4 years too long, literally. So, if he learned from his mistakes, which we know Jerry Jones doesn't do, he should probably, if someone's got to take the blame, right? If he doesn't fire the coach, more of the blame's going to go on him, which it should. And, he doesn't like the negative headlines, but like you said, Jerry Jones is just kind of in his own little world, thinking everything's great, we're going to be fine. And trading for a receiver when you're 3-5 and your quarterback just got hurt, you can't. So here's the only explanation I can have. He's a talent that they wanted in the draft, supposedly, that they were looking at him and said, man, we missed out on him. Okay, fine, whatever. You trade him for a 4th-round pick, or was it a 5th?
I want to say it was a 5th.
Okay, so, So here, actually, it was a 4th, because I remember hearing that Deontay Johnson went to the Ravens, who was the best receiver on that Panthers team, went for a 5th-round pick.
Maybe I had them mixed,
So you but here's why. He's younger, and he's still on that rookie deal for 2 more years. So if you think he's the guy you thought he was going to be when you wanted to draft him, maybe you're like, all right, we got our wide receiver 2, we're good. But you're not in a position to try and trade for a wide receiver 2 at 3-5. Like, you're just not. And going backwards, they are 3-5, right? I'm not saying that wrong. Okay, I didn't know if it was 3-4. They had their bye, whatever.
What was weird is it's like if they squeak out with a win, they're 500, and somehow Jerry Jones can still argue we got a chance here, being probably the worst 500 team in football. Yeah. But now I think the record is more reflective of where they're at.
Yeah, and then now you're going to be with Trey Lance running the show, I think, as their backup. So,
but then they had Cooper Rush come in, So I mean, I don't know.
Oh, that's true. Cooper Rush did come in. So I think if you're gonna start anybody, you should start Lance. See what you got with him. I mean, you know what Cooper Rush brings you. So you maybe have some miracle where Trey Lance is like, oh, there's the 3rd pick of the draft that the 49ers thought they were getting. But obviously, I don't see that happening. But I mean, yeah. And then, not to switch gears too much, but then you have the opposite end where you said, all right, the Cowboys on week 1, they were going crazy. You thought, here we go, we're going to make a run. My team, the Broncos, week 1 looked terrible. Bo Nix was throwing the ball all over the field to the other team weeks 1 and 2. And I'm like, here we go again. And now we're looking at, we just got blown out by the Ravens. Not a game I thought we would win by any stretch. I picked the Ravens in the pool for a reason. The Ravens are a juggernaut in the regular season anyway. We'll talk about them a little bit too, because we got the Thursday night pick coming up. But like, the difference is that you can see now, at least in Denver and Broncos country, is there's hope. And it's like, okay, Bo Nix has gotten better. Bo Nix has gotten better each week. Yeah. The guy is athletic. He's catching touchdowns. He's like, no, I don't have
it was a nice catch.
And it was a great catch. He's like, I don't have any receivers. F it. I'll do it myself. You know what I mean? Let me go get it. And I had Sutton and Bo Nix on my fantasy team going this week because of bye weeks, and I thought, all right, sweet, maybe they can hook up for a touchdown. Didn't see it going the other way, but which was kind of cool. But I mean, the defense didn't show up Sunday. The defense has been lights out before that. They ran into a buzzsaw. Big game against Kansas City this week. We'll talk about that on the next show. But
you're looking on the upswing, which is where you'd much rather be than someone just kind of in free fall.
Going in 2 different directions right now. It looks like anyway, and. I was hoping they would make a deal at the deadline. I was hoping they would make a trade for a receiver because we need one. You know what I mean? I was hoping
sense.
Right, but maybe they're just waiting it out because of the cap hit that's going to come for us, and see where they're at. Maybe go after a guy like T. Higgins in free agency, something like that. Not to look too far ahead, but that's probably the goal. And I would assume that this offseason they'd make the deals to get more weapons for Bo. But anyway, every week they're getting better. That's all I could ask for. As long as he's getting better. That's all.
Rather be in your shoes than mine.
Yeah,
but
right now.
I know, Sam, we're going on the emotional side of things where you're getting happy, I'm getting sad. I want to switch gears because that is not a good representation of how I did this past week.
Oh, not at all.
My best week of the season, one of my best weeks ever in making NFL picks, guys. I just want to share this with everybody. This was a $10 parlay I did because sometimes just to hold myself accountable, I like to parlay my NFL pick'em. All right. So it was a 14 leg parlay, $10 to pay over $2,400. I got one pick wrong. All right. I went 13 for 14 this week, guys. Who was the one pick I got wrong? Saints over the Panthers. The Saints just freaking collapse at the end of the game, give Bryce Young this, beautiful drive to cap it off, and the Panthers win by 1 point. Saints going into that game, guys, were a minus 345 favorite. That was one of the easiest picks, supposedly by odds makers. That was one of the biggest favorites I picked in the entire 14-leg parlay. That is the only one I got wrong. And that cost me $2,400, guys.
Just to interject, here's what had to happen for that parlay not to hit. You said 4 words that have never been spoken before in his NFL days: Bryce Young and beautiful drive. That's never that's never been said. You literally lost your parlay because of those 4 words, something no one ever thought was coming. So that's just the beauty of parlays and betting, or not the beauty of it anyway. That's never out.
Sure. So that was a fun one. Still very happy with the record, 13 out of 14. Yeah. It's funny, though, not to digress, but this has been like my year of close calls. All right, we had this monster parlay, 13 out of 14. So close, 1 point away with the friggin' Saints there. And then also, mind you, I was the guy that picked the Dodgers to sweep. Another big one. They, had a gentleman's sweep, so close there. And one I kind of kept on the hush-hush, maybe we'll share, on our posts and stuff. In July, I know I'm really hitting the rewind button, did a nice big bonus bet on the Mets to win the World Series. Guys, that was a $100 bonus bet to pay $12,000. All right, that was the killer. And so it's been a fun, exciting year, but I've been just coming up short with some of the monsters.
So close.
But that was my week 9. Very happy with it. My special I had there, I called Jake Ferguson to eclipse 48.5 receiving yards. He had 48 receiving yards in the first quarter. So I got well over that one. That was a cool pick. So all in all, a really good week in football. It's just when you fall that short, that close, it kind of stings. How'd you do, Sam?
Well, I went 10-4, respectable week. I'm 33 games over 500 now. A couple weeks ago, I said when we were struggling, well, now we're looking at like 5 weeks ago now because this season is just blowing by. But when I said the first 4 weeks was like a little like feeling out period and our records weren't very good. As soon as we said that, we were like, we know the tendencies now, and our picks have just come and just been miles better. We've both been over 500 every week. You had your good week. I had my one loss week. You had yours. And 10-4, 10-5, 9-4, 9-5 is where we kind of find ourselves now, which is good. And in the NFL, it's so unpredictable. Obviously, like with the Bryce Young thing and the Panthers winning. So it's something that we're finding our stride in the pick'ems anyway. Yeah. And hopefully some people are tailing some of those money line picks anyway when it comes to the pick'em. Our specials can use some work, obviously. We started out hot with those, actually, and then we've kind of lost our way a little bit. But we'll get back on track. It's only week 9.
Yeah, but I think, one thing we've proven that you can take to the bank is Thursday nights.
Yes,
I know
sir.
You pick every Thursday night correctly. We were the same for most of those up until the recent, 2 week. I had that awesome parlay with Garrett Wilson that I called out there. Yeah, and Tank Dell. They eclipsed that easily.
Yep.
And we can go right to this Thursday. So this is what I got for Thursday night. We got, of course, the Ravens-Bengals. I love that matchup. I'm getting a good matchup on Thursday night. I'd love to see the Bengals get something going, but it's not going to happen. I got the Ravens in this one. I think that was kind of easy. And I'll give you one prop that I got. I thought this was interesting. Joe Burrow is going to have to really play his balls off to try and have a fighting chance against these Ravens. I think he will. And, with T. Higgins being questionable, Jamar Chase commanding so much coverage, good defense, Burrow's going to have to try and do a lot. So what's the point I'm getting at? Over under on Joe Burrow rushing yards is 9.5 yards, right? Joe Burrow can run. I think he can run for 10 yards Thursday night. So that's my pick for Thursday night. I'm taking the over on Joe Burrow with 9.5 rushing yards.
I like that because he's going to be running for his life like he is every other time he takes the field, because Cincinnati refuses to block for him since he's been in the league. But and he doesn't like to run, you can tell. But if he has to, he will. And I like that pick a lot. I also like the Ravens
One good
pick. Yeah, I also like
That's
the
it.
Ravens pick. They are a 6-point favorite last I saw. This is the biggest spread I think that since the Jets played the Patriots that I'm actually taking. I love the Bengals. They were my dark horse pick for the Super Bowl. Obviously I think they're at 4-5 right now, so it's not too great. Or 4-4. I wanted to take the Bengals in the points so badly, but I've bet against Lamar Jackson and the Ravens on primetime too many times to not make
Yep.
that mistake again. And Lamar Jackson on primetime in the regular season is just his numbers are off the chart. So I like him. I like him in the Ravens -6 to keep that streak going. Hopefully at 9 in a row for me on Thursday night. I don't know what Lamar's over in pass yards is. But
231.
okay, I
Most of the book.
would 231 seems high for Lamar, right? Not
Yep.
this year. He's throwing the ball
Mm.
extremely well. Zay Flowers has been a legit number one receiver for them. Deontay Johnson should probably have more involvement in the offense this week. I like him. The Bengals pass defense is suspect. So
Yep.
I would take the over. I was taking it blindly too. I didn't know what it was. I'll
Yeah,
take it
yeah,
though. 231
yeah.
is nice. I would take that.
Right around 231, 232, depending on
Yeah.
the book you're looking at.
Yeah.
One comment on that though that I would be afraid of as you, Sab, and I love the pick. Like I want to do it emotionally, but if you take kind of the financial betting brain, the fear I'd have is you're calling the Ravens to cover the spread.
Yeah.
Ravens come out strong. If they are covering the spread, then all of a sudden do you start feeding the beast, hand it
Yeah.
off to Derrick Henry.
That is true.
This is one of those ones where it's like Lamar has 200 yards passing the first half. They get a big lead, and then it's like, oh my gosh, is he going to throw the ball ever
That's
again?
true. That's true. That is
That's
very
the
true.
only thing I fear when
and
they're the favorite.
And the fact that we both did our analysis of the game, and before you just said it, then neither of us talked about Derrick Henry was kind of criminal. I mean, this guy, what is this guy doing?
What a beast!
He is unbelievable. He does not slow down one bit. He looks just as good as he did 4 years ago, 5 years ago. He can still run away from everybody. He can still run over everyone.
Unbelievable.
He's another one that do you dare bet against his rushing yards? Yeah, he's just unbelievable, and he's kind of in play for offensive player of the year, I think. If he keeps
He's
this
play
up,
for
I mean,
MVP.
well, and MVP too, but it's not going to go to a running back. As
I
long as
know.
Patrick Mahomes stays undefeated and throws the ball left-handed every now and then, they're going to give it to him. So we won't talk about that and their luck box of a Monday night win again. But
Yep.
hopefully my Broncos can end that. But I mean, I doubt it. But we'll see what happens. But yeah, I mean, he's just unbelievable. When I was watching him against Denver, the first quarter we kind of stopped them a little bit. I was like, okay, cool, we're attacking the run. This is what we're gonna do. And then of course Lamar opened it up, and then opened up the passing game, which opened up the run game, and then he just started running over everybody. And you lose your will in late in the third quarter when you're having to tackle this 250, 60+ pound beast of a running back. I mean, that's and you need 2 or 3 guys to take him down. No single guy is taking him down. So he's unbelievable, man. He's unreal.
Yeah. And it's just wild that you hit this magic age 30 that everyone's afraid of. People afraid to draft him in fantasy because, oh my gosh, he's 30.
Me.
He's having, I mean, if he keeps this going, it's his best year he's had in his career, which is really saying something.
And behind that amazing offensive line, a team that runs the ball better than everyone even before he got there. So, I mean, it was a match made in heaven. And looking farther down the road, I just hope they give him the ball in the playoffs, unlike they did last year when they didn't run the football. I hope they give him the ball in the playoffs because that's going to be the recipe for winning and making a Super Bowl.
I mean, this will be on Lamar. I mean, he's really got the keys to the Ferrari this year. You know, he can't crash it. Yeah, so this is, if he has a run, people are going to be talking about Lamar legacy, all that. If he doesn't, then he's this guy that just kind of couldn't really get it done, and then he's more of your Michael Vick type. But we'll see. And so just to kind of close out here, I know we got a lot of basketball fans that watch, and NBA season's heating up. It is fun. So I'm going to throw you in too for tonight if you guys want to follow. I'm big on this whole Steph Curry train. He was my sleeper pick for MVP for the super, super long shot. They play the defending champ Celtics tonight, and they are a plus 205 underdog. All right, so long odds for them to win. I believe they're a 6-point underdog, but I mean, yeah, the Celtics are awesome.
Are they at home?
I know
Is
this
it
is a
in
risk.
Boston? Is it in Boston?
This is at Boston.
Wow, an only 6-point favorite at Boston. I think that's
I feel we're going in very separate directions with
I mean,
this.
I'm not gonna touch it. I don't touch NBA. I don't touch NBA till about January usually for this show.
Yep.
I'll make an exception, but 6 seems very low. I know it's the Warriors, but these Celtics, man, they're just tough. They're just unbelievable. I don't know if anyone's gonna beat them. I don't
Yeah,
know if anyone's gonna beat them in a 7-game
Steph
series.
Curry
But
will snap.
it is only yeah. Well, there you go.
So we'll see if anyone wants to ride a couple long shots with me. I got the Warriors over the Celtics tonight. Hopefully it can be a fun game. And then a really cool parlay. Shout out to Caesars real quick that they're pumping up. They've boosted this. So maybe you do a little sprinkle there. You got Wemby, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, and Zion Williamson. All three of them tonight playing. All three, if they can score over 24.5 points, that's boosted to plus 350 odds.
Nice.
Again, another big long shot, big parlay. But you got the three rising stars of sorts in the league asking 24.5 points of them. I like that. I think it's fun just to do a little something, see if these young guys can all have not even a huge night, just a good night, all three of them. And then you get yourself a nice parlay there. So that's my other pick of the night.
You should get a free square just for Zion Williamson suiting up in November. I mean, that should get something. You should get something just for that. I mean, has this guy played in November ever? Has he played before Thanksgiving? I mean, I don't know. It's nuts. But yeah, no, I'm glad he's playing because he is one of the young talents. And when he's on the court and he's healthy, he's one of the best young players in the game. And I hope he stays healthy and I hope he stays on the court. But yeah, that's interesting. I don't know. He hasn't played this early in a long time.
Yeah. Hey, maybe he's kind of finding his groove. So you got him, Wemby, SGA. Just get 25 points a pop, and we're cruising.
Beautiful.
Those are my picks. Any other closing thoughts on Week 9 or Thursday night primetime set?
No, man. I'm just glad we can after last night being over and we have no sleep and like you can't see my hair or whatever, and how now we can focus on sports. Now we can go from 90% focus on sports to 100% focusing on it.
That's right.
Yeah, so I'm excited for what's to come. And NFL season's heating up, man. Now we're going to start to see teams got to make those playoff runs, and the trade deadline's over. Now we'll see teams separate themselves. Can my Broncos be an actual contender? Can they actually make the playoffs? I don't think they're a Super Bowl contender by any means, but can they get in the playoffs? Can they win some tough games? Can your Cowboys maybe just right the ship just a little bit until Dak comes back? Do you think not? Probably not. I don't think so either, but are the Commanders for real? 7-2 right now. Jaden Daniels looking like the offensive rookie of the year, looking like he's going to get that easily. The Bears are a mess. Can they figure it out? Caleb Williams doesn't look like he's the right pick so far. Jaden looked like the right pick. So a lot of unanswered questions, and it's going to be fun. It's going to be a fun ride.
And just to kind of piggyback in closing, we talk a little bit of the NFC East. I'll tell you, I mean, you just look at Saquon and the man. We were talking about Derrick Henry a moment ago. Yeah. Saquon is running like a man on a mission. Doesn't matter where he is on the field or what he's doing. I mean, that play. I don't know if you saw the Nike ad that came out.
The backwards
that
one.
That was sick.
He's doing
about capitalizing on it.
He's doing a Olympic floor routine on the field. Like, what is going on, man? This guy's unreal.
Yeah, and knock on wood, he doesn't get hurt because you're seeing a little of that kind of college reckless abandon of just laying it out there. So we'll get to the weekend in NFL later on, but I'll tell you what, man. When you're looking at it over with touchdowns, rushing yards, receptions, there's so much there that Saquon has to offer.
Yeah.
So that'll be fun to kind of keep an eye on. But those are our picks, guys. And again, if you're a new listener, new viewer, and you're like, hey, do these guys really know their stuff? I think we can tell you Thursday night, hell yeah. And we're to find our grooves in the NFL.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
So keep tuning in, like, subscribe, all that good stuff wherever you listen. I'm BK, he's Sab, and we will see you this weekend.
Hey, guys.